Alrighty, folks, back with a collection update, and it's a big one because I've been derelict in my duties when it comes to collection updates. So this is going to be mainly Doom, some Doom adjacent, but it's pretty good size, so I need to get started here. First off, we're going to start off with Averon, Serenity. These guys are out of Sweden. This is their debut album, came out in 1997. They released 2 albums before breaking up. You can tell they're definitely from the Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus era of Candlemass. That's what they're going for. They're a little plodding, and they definitely don't have the riffs that Candlemass does, but still halfway decent. And we have Black Wizard, Livin, Oblivion, Stoner Doom. Pretty speedy, actually. Classic Doom with kind of sounds a lot like Valkyrie with hints of the sword thrown in there. And the singer sounds like the dude from Valkyrie with hints of Kurt Cobain. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. They were formed in 2008 in Canada. This is their 4th album, and so as of right now, their last album came out in 2018. It says they're still active, but the only thing they released since this was they released an EP in 2021 that had a Kiss cover on it and a AC/DC cover on it. Then we have Bone Church out of Connecticut. One of my favorite new bands that I've been turned on to. This is their 2nd album called Acid Communion. Debut came out in 2017. And they just released their 3rd album called Deliverance in 2025. And that finished like 4th on my album of the year chart. So big fan of these guys. They're listed as stoner metal / stoner rock, but I mean, I get more classic Doom in their sound than anything. Sabbath meets Orchid for sure. The singer's got hints of Scorpion Child, hints of John Garcia in his voice, and you can hear the blues and southern rock creeping into their classic Doom sound on this one that would be more prevalent in Deliverance. And we have Candlemass, King of the Grey Islands. It's a promo copy. This is their first one that has Robert Lowe on it from Solitude Aeternus. I'm not sure I really like him with Candlemass. This is the first album for Candlemass with him on vocals. It's also the first Candlemass album I've purchased that has him on vocals. I'm still kind of on the fence about the way he sings with Candlemass. Then we have Cathedral. This is their debut. How young they are there. 1991, Forests of Equilibrium. Now, I came in with Cathedral with the Carnival Bazaar in 95. And I never went back to the first 2 albums because I heard the vocals were a lot different than Carnival Bazaar and Onward. And they definitely are. Lee Dorian's kind of Is he singing? Is he growling? It's kind of hard to tell. He's kind of somewhere in the middle. Very heavy doom riffy. Not, I would say Carnival Bazaar is more classic doom, and this is more plotting type doom. But you can definitely see where this album influenced the death doom genre. Then we have Dawn of Winter, The Peaceful Dead. These guys were recommended to me by Mel and Marty Mack, who were talking about Angel of Retribution. And he mentioned that the singer for these guys was in, or the singer for Angel of Retribution was in Dawn of Winter. And it's him for sure. He's got a voice that's definitely recognizable. He goes by his, I'm assuming it's his real name here, called Garrett Mutz, or as he's known as Doom Cult Messiah and Angel of Retribution. These guys were formed in Germany in 91. Their debut came out in 98. This one came out in 2008. Their last album came out in 2018. So I've pointed out before that Angel of Retribution releases an album every 7 years. These guys seem to release an album every 10 years. So it looks like we're going to have 3 more years before we get another one from Dawn of Winter. This is more straightforward doom than Angel of Retribution, which is kind of more theatrical, I would say. Definitely in the vein of Candlemass. Then we get Coven11³ out of Detroit. Their debut came out in 87. Then their second album came out in 91. And then 22 years later we get this one, Destiny of the Gods. It says they're still active, which was this, I guess this has been 8 years since this one came out. No, it's been longer than that. 12 years. So yeah, in the last 34 years they released this album. And this album came out, what was it, 12 years ago. It does say they're still active. Hints of Megaton Sword. Hints of Manila Road. Hints of Latter-day Cathedral, as we were just talking about early Cathedral. Then we have Fer De Lance with their debut EP called Colossus. These guys out of Chicago. Their earlier stuff, I'd say it has more feel like Doom Sword and Atlantean Codex. Their 2025 album, Fires on the Mountainside, was my #2 album of the year. So yeah, go check out the title track on this one, Colossus. Man, is that song an earworm? Then we have Priestess. This is their debut called Hello Master. This is from 2005. I would say this one is probably a bit more stoner than Doom, and definitely has more 70s influence to it than their follow-up, which was Prior to the Fire. So yeah, this one came out in 2005. Second album came out in 2009. I know a lot of people, that's where I heard about them from, was Prior to the Fire, but I actually think I prefer this one more. Probably because it does have the heavier on the 70s influence. They haven't done anything since '09. Says they're on hold, but quite a long time to be on hold. And then we have Sacri. Now this is more stoner than doom, and there's definitely lots of psychedelia in this one. You know who Danova are? They got a Danova feel to them. Less keyboards, more psyche than Danova. Debut came out in 2015. This one came out, Waiting Room for the Magic Hour came out in 2019, and then they released an album called in 2024 called Retrieval. Then we have Stonegard, formed in Oslo in 2000. Their debut called Arrows came out in 2005. I picked that one up as a flat rate shipping deal. I wasn't that high on it. I mean, sometimes they're playing Doom, and it sounds just like the Doom you want to listen to. And then sometimes they like veer off, and then it sounds like Stone Temple Pilots are playing Doom, or attempting to play Doom. But I heard this one was heavier and better. It's called From Dusk Till Doom. The debut was called Arrows. This one is heavier, but when they veer off of the Doom, now it kind of sounds like System of a Down or Load era Metallica. So they're kind of all over the place. They had the 2 albums, then they split up in '08. And then we have Veni, Domine, Material Sanctuary. These guys were formed in Stockholm way back in 1989. They've released 7 albums. Their debut came out in '92, and then their last one came out in 2014. They broke up then, but then they've since reformed in 2024. So hopefully they're working on some new material. This sound, if you've never heard these guys, it sounds like Queensryche plays doom metal. I don't know if you'd call it progressive doom or not, but when I first heard it, kind of catches you off guard, because you don't really hear progressive doom bands, which is, for lack of a better term. But the more you listen to it, the more you get into it. I mean, these guys are serious musicians, and they write some seriously good riffs. Their stuff's hard to come by, though. It's pretty pricey. Then we're getting close to the end, folks. We have Witchsorrow, formed in the UK in 2005. Their debut came out in 2010. Then this is their second album, which came out in 2012. They have 4 albums out. The last one came out in 2018, but it says they're still active. Take the fuzz of Electric Wizard, the plodding doom of Reverend Bazaar, and then the vocals of early Cathedral, and you have Witchsorrow. Next up, we have Wood Witch, formed in 2019 in Virginia Beach. Now, I didn't hear about these guys until this year. I got this off their Bandcamp page. Minimalist EP release, but it did come with a cool guitar pick. This is called, what is this called? I forgot what this damn album's called. And I didn't write it down. Luckily, I was still on their page. Which is Sabbath. So yeah, they're formed in 2019, and in 2021 they released 2 EPs and a live album. Then their debut came out in 2022, and then Cinema Door came out in 2025, which is where I came in. Album almost made my top 10 of the year. I think it came in at number 11. These guys are all about the Sabbath worship. So, yeah, trying to find more of their stuff, but it's pretty sparse and pretty pricey too when you come across it. And then, last but not least, we have Black Sabbath live, Gathered in Their Masses. Had to have it for the collection. DVD, CD, release. Unfortunately, the CD only has some of the songs from the DVD, and it's missing all the good ones. But like I said, I needed it for the collection. So yeah, like Into the Void, Snowblind, Behind the Wall of Sleep, Symptom of the Universe. Those are all just on the DVD and not on the CD. But it's Ozzy Air Sabbath, and my collection would not be complete without it. Alrighty. Hopefully that wasn't too painful. You guys have a good one.